Hey everyone, Charles here. And first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy? Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness? Doing what they love and living the good life. So, get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Yes. Hello. Hey, everybody. How you doing? And welcome to Jump. Now, if this is your first time, I'm not talking about jumping up and down. I'm talking about jumping into your future, jumping into greatness. Everybody has greatness. What is yours? What's holding you back? I bring interesting guests just like you and me onto the show and just to help you learn from them and how to get to that next level. I got somebody special coming on right now to help you jump into this next greatness. Let's go, Megan. Good morning. How you doing?
Chuck, that is a great intro. I love your energy, my friend.
I'm so happy that you could be here today.
I'm happy to be here. And thank you for creating this community. You know, that is one of the 787 things I love about podcasts is that it is a platform for people to share their stories. I think everyone has a story. And you can get a nugget out of anyone that's vulnerable enough to share their story. And thank you for creating this community and giving people the courage and the nuggets and the wisdom and the language to hopefully unlock their truth.
I just like that you're at 780 something that you love about podcasts. So.
And I could sit here all day and tell you all the things I love about podcasts, all 787 reasons.
All right. So let's dive right into it. Born and raised, where are you from?
I am from Central PA. I lovingly call it Pennsyltucky, one stoplight town, very, very rural, raised by a single mother at the age of 23, 2 kids, worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over our head. And now at the age of 40, I have just moved back 5 minutes from my mother. So what a beautiful full circle moment.
There you go. So let's look back in time then. The little girl in you growing up, what did you want to dream about becoming? Like, what did you see yourself becoming?
I love that question because isn't it our childhood stories is the shit that we run from? And yet it is really the foundation of every damn decision you make every day. So as a little girl, Chris, oh my God, sometimes I think back to her and I think about just how desperate she was for validation from the world and how many wrong decisions she made from that. I was a chubby kid from Central PA. I had a speech impediment. I was a C student, 600 SAT scores, lied about that till I was 39.
There you go.
And I think, growing up, I just wanted to know that I was validated and worthy and good. And I don't even know if I really had dreams for my life. I was so busy trying to be the person that you wanted me to be so you would like me.
Right.
And I for the long time, Chris, that young girl that never felt worthy or good enough or that she had anything to contribute. Like I said, that was the knee jerk of a lot of my decisions, hence my addiction to achieving, because it was the first thing that ever made me feel like I had something to give was my job in sales. And that created like a drug and addiction to it.
So then growing up in teenager land, then like when did you see that, you could be the boss? What age did you see that the boss in you can come out?
Yeah. I don't think, Chris, I really saw that till I got out of college. So in my teenage years, as the chubby kid, as the one who was not smart in school and got the grades and was, academically inclined, I found my lane in the funny girl lane, and that's where I stayed for a long time. Life of the party, social jokester, and I stayed in that for a very long time. And then when I got out of college and when I got my first job and I realized that I was good at it, then I was like, oh, okay. And like a drug, man, Chris, it formed this addiction that I don't think we ever talk about, because we think wanting to do good at your job and the Herculean sprint to get to the corner office and get the nicer car and fit in the skinny jeans and get the relationship. We think that's what life is all about, the I'll be happy when. And we never really gift or are taught that you are the common denominator in these decisions. You can quit your job. You can leave the relationship. You can pack up and move. But guess what, my friend? You are taking you with you.
So then when did you find your first job? Like, do you remember your real first job, your first paycheck?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. Hotel sales. It was
Okay.
opening a hotel out in right outside Philadelphia. And I was in charge of a property. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the woman, the mentor that taught me so much. And yeah, isn't it funny the life moments that you remember? 39, and I can remember the hotel wasn't built yet, and I can remember being in the tube in the property, and I can remember the conversations. And it's interesting how those life tattoo moments stay with you, just
So
like
then,
a tattoo.
so what was your first great sale, and what was your your mistake? Because I think everybody learns and grows from their mistake. So, tell us the story of your mistake sale and your greatest sale.
God, mistake sales. I have so many, so many, so many. Isn't it funny? And I love that question because you only ever hear about the successes, especially in the social world that we live in, right? It's so easy to think, I'll never have that. I can't do this. I just fell into that earlier this week. I had saw this woman, Heather Monahan, had posted some of these things that she's doing, and she's 41 and I am 39, and I thought to myself, holy shit, like I'll never have that. Chris, I guess I should ask, can I curse? I'm so sorry. I think I dropped shit twice now. It's the Northeasterner in me. I apologize if I've offended anybody.
It's all good. We'll put a big header on the story, but yeah, be
Perfect.
you, be real.
Perfect. So back to your question, Chris. My first big mistake. God, I had many. Like I remember, speaking of life tattoo moments, I remember that first sales call that I had to make. It was in front of a church. Like who would be nervous going into a church? Isn't that supposed to be one of the most warm and welcoming places to be in the world? And I remember being so terrified that I had to give myself a pep talk, and I entirely jacked up my spiel. And I remember it was a synagogue. And I went in and I talked about, can we be in your church newsletter? And they were so offended that they didn't use the word church newsletter. And I'll never forget that moment. So that was a big life lesson on making sure you know who is on the other end of whether it's the screen or whether it's the person that you're talking to. Make sure you do your homework. And then a sale that I remember that was very validating for me is anyone in sales knows that you don't just have one outreach and get the sale. It's about consistency. It's about persistence. It's about follow up. And I had worked a deal for almost 2 years, and everyone told me that it would not come to fruition. And I closed the deal, and it took me 2 years to close it. But I am one of those people, Chris, as I'm sure many of your listeners are, that can be a little stubborn. So when you tell me something can't be done, I'm like, oh yeah, watch me.
And it just goes on from there, and it keeps going from there. So then, when did you realize that, something, this is all good, this is all gravy, but I can't work for somebody. Like I need to be on my own. I need to do something out there.
Yeah. Chris, I think we all have those inner gut whispers every damn day that we are terrified to lean into because we don't know where to start. And that can be with anything. That can be the job. That can be the relationship. That can be what you're eating. That can be the lack of moving your body, whatever it is. And you do the thing anyway, even though you know you shouldn't, because it's comfortable and it's easy. So as long as you're getting certainty and significance of it, like 90% of us want and need, we'll make those wrong decisions. We won't listen to our gut whisper. And so I say all that to say, Chris, I really look back and I think for 7 years or so, I had this inner gut whisper that this was not the path for me. But on the other shoulder, I was getting the validation because I was good at it and I was getting the accolades and the achievement. So, as life has it, whether you want to call it universe, God, divine, whatever word you want to use, came up and basically slapped me upside the head and was like, listen, dummy, listen to me. So I was on this one of those I'll be happy when moments. So I thought that I would be happy when I reached the corner office. Corner office, C suite, sitting next to the president and the COO. And for C student from Central PA, I was proving everyone wrong that I could make it in the world. And what I did not realize, Chris, is that there's a drug to achieving, to getting me to this corner office. It took the joy out of life. I was sacrificing myself at all costs for it. And the glacier foundation of it all was so shaky. My relationships, I wasn't talking to my closest friends and family because I was so miserable. I was popping Lexapro. I was binge drinking every chance I could. I felt like shit in my body. I wasn't eating healthy. I was in loveless relationship after loveless relationship. So I get this promotion to the corner office. And then a few months later, I have this mental breakdown in the most inopportune place because they never come at a great time.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait 10 minutes. Wait 10 minutes until I leave this place. And wait till I get home. Yeah, wait till I get into bed. I got my slippers on. I got all this stuff, and then go for it. Yeah.
Yes. So it was alongside 76 in Philadelphia. And for anyone who might not be familiar, it is the major highway in and out of the city. So not the best place to have a breakdown. Mack trucks whizzing by. And I realized, like, how did my life get here? And that is when I had the awakening moment that my whole life, Chris, was spent achieving. It was how I was validated. It was how I was loved. And through this journey to get the validation, the person that I never took time to ask, to get to know, was myself. And that began this 7 years, scary as hell journey of what we are never taught, but really creates this freedom in your life and fulfillment and passion is living life what you want, not what the rest of the world's bullhorned in your ear. And so, Chris, that began slow. It's been slow. It's been 7 years until I finally have brought this movement out into the world of intentional living, of taking your life from existing to living, of these small micro steps that you can do every day to just feel more inspired, fulfilled, and connected.
All right. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty. It's time to have some fun.
Well, I like fun.
It's time for rapid fire. What's going to happen is I got 2 minutes on the clock, but here's a funny thing. You get to choose the questions I ask you in rapid fire. Remember, there's 2 minutes on the clock and you can elaborate on your questions, but remember, you got to get them all done in 2 minutes. So what do you want? A, B, C, or D?
Let's go with A.
A. All right. 2 minutes on the clock after my first question starts now. What's your favorite drink?
Oh my God, this is so boring, but it's so quenching. Water.
There you go. When are you most productive?
Morning.
What inspires you and why?
People's stories.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Name something happening in your life right now that's making you excited.
Talking to you, talking to this community, spreading this message.
Favorite number and why?
Favorite number 5. And why? I will say this. So I've become so much more spiritual in my journey, and I look for these little angel numbers. It's become like my little thing. And every time I see a 5, there's this spiritual meaning behind it that your angels and your guardians are with you.
There you go. Favorite cake?
Oh my God, any.
How do you start your day?
Oh, pen to paper. Pen freeing the thoughts of my mind and putting it into paper. A moment of silence with me.
Worst subject in school.
Oh my God, math. Still is.
Best subject in school.
Oh, English. Creative writing was my favorite class.
What scares you?
Failure.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
What is your hobby?
I love reading.
And 20 seconds left. What is success to you?
Am I being true to me?
There you go. With 17 seconds left, we made it.
Hey, that's impressive. Because I got to tell you what, Chris, I can go on a ramble. I know this is going to come as a shock to you, but I can just start rambling. So the fact that we have time left, man, that's a win.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes, we're back live. And during the rapid fire, you said pen to paper. That's how you start your day. Pen to paper. Explain. What do you do?
Yeah. I have to, can I sidebar real quick? I realized early on in our conversation, Charles, that you have a great microphone voice. Like you have a great aura behind the mic. And then when I just saw our last commercial about CMJ Entertainment, I was like, oh, it all makes sense. It takes a special person to be able to have the task of lighting a special occasion on fire. There's a lot of pressure in your world, my friend.
I do appreciate that. So let's hear how you start your day. Pen to paper.
Yeah. So pen to paper. It has been the most therapeutic time for me. We are so quick to get up and run to the rest of the world. So pick up the phone and scroll the social feeds, to look at the emails, to look at the news. And when you do that, Chris, all it takes is 3 minutes of doing any of those things, and you will have a 70% higher chance of having a bad day. So your whole day is just focused on other people's wants and needs and the knee-jerk reactions, and you're pissed off and you're looking for the bad. When you just take a few moments, for me, it has been pen to paper, releasing my thoughts. I have the 4-step micro-step journal process that I use for free for your listeners at megan-miller.com. I'm sure we'll link that. It can take 5 minutes in the morning. And when you start to do those things, you look for good, and what you look for in life, you find. And there is science behind it. It's called the reticular activation system, RAS. You can Google it. Basically says, in the most simplistic terms, there is a bouncer that lives up here in your brain, and you tell it what to let in, which is why if you've ever gone shopping for a car and then you see that car everywhere, that's the bouncer in your brain. So when you give yourself a few moments in the morning to just make time for you, and whatever that looks like, for me, it's pen to paper. Maybe it is taking a moment with a book in the morning. Maybe it is moving your body for a minimum of 20 minutes. 20 minutes, it can cut depression by 36%. Maybe it is keeping the first promise to yourself and getting up when the alarm rings. Whatever that looks like for you, it can be such an impactful way to start your day. And again, what you look for in life, you find, and it'll change how you show up in your day and what you find, because what's wrong is always available, as is what's right.
So let's get back to the site. You said you go to the website, you built your own platform, you built your own community. Talk about how you're helping people within your business.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. Life is so serendipitous, isn't it? When you give yourself a moment to look back on the building blocks of your journey. So I am someone who hid from any sort of vulnerable, from any sort of real conversation for the majority of my life. Like I said, I was the jokester. So any sort of real conversation, ooh, not going there. And through this journey of self-discovery, of getting to know myself through the muck and the myrrh, vulnerability has been at the core of this movement of teaching the high performing go getter that they will not be happy when they get their inbox as close to zero as possible, when they complete all the tasks on their task list, that when they get the job or when they get the renovated kitchen or when they fit in the size jean or when they get the relationship, that will not give them the happiness that they think. It all begins with what they want. And that is the most difficult thing to do, is to ask, because you've never been taught what do you want, and the courage to go after it, to spring into action. And that's what these micro steps are all about, Chris, are these small little habits that you can build in your life that'll change how you show up. Because when you change you, it has this ripple impact in your life, how you show up in the boardroom, how you show up at the dining room table, how you feel in your body, your spirituality, your finances. It all begins with you. And that's exactly what this community is built on.
Change is hard. And everybody's like, I am the way I am and I do things the way I do things. How do we change? How do we get to the level you're talking about without, going stir crazy, trying to change your routines and change what we do? But we all know that little steps here and there can make a big difference in your business, your company, and your life. How do we make the change?
Yeah. You are so damn right. Change is hard. And you are talking to someone that hates change. I will stay in the same routine, even if it doesn't serve me, just so I don't have to change. I hate it. And we all do. Like you said, Chris, we all do. We are built for certainty. We love you routines. And what has really built the change for me through this journey is this: making one small promise to myself and keeping that promise to myself. And that's it. And that is it. So what do I mean by that? Let's just say it was a beautiful day out where you are and you wanted to get out and move your body. You're feeling stir crazy. You're behind the screen all day. Your body's tired. You're feeling on edge. The emails are starting to piss you off. People are starting to piss you off. You want to get out and move your body. You said you were going to do it at noon, but it's 12:30. Instead of saying screw it, you keep that promise to yourself and you still go outside and do the walk, even if it's only for 30 minutes versus the full hour. If you said you wanted to read the book, but your day got ahead of you, it's taking the 10 minutes to maybe read a page. It doesn't matter the time commitment. It is one small promise to yourself and keeping it. And that, my friend, is the beginning springboard to spring you into action. And that 4-step journal process will help you begin to have some thought starters on what that promise can look like.
So it's not always to get the job fully done, but it's just to do the job, get a little bit here, get a little bit there, get it going. And then eventually, you'll get the process done. It's hard, but bit by bit, we'll get you in that right direction.
I had a girlfriend say to me yesterday, Chris, and I loved this. She was like, we try to Amazon our life, don't we? Yes, we do. We think that we can find whatever we're looking for in life. We want it now, and we want it in the package that we want it in. And we think that that'll show up on our doorstep in 48 hours if we do one thing one time. And that's not the way life works, which is why I am such a big proponent of these small, consistent habits, because it's not the big leaps. We've all seen online repetition. Right. It's the mother of all skill. It's these small little things that build brick by brick by brick the foundation of your life.
Gotcha. All right, let's hit it.
Now time for Pick
3. It's now time for Pick 3. We've actually extended it from 1 to 13. What's going to happen is, before we let you go, you're going to pick your last 3 questions that I'm going to ask you. So give me 3 numbers between 1 and 13.
Oh my God. Well, 5 first, 7, and 13. Did you say 3 numbers, Chris?
Yep, 3 numbers. All right, here we go. Number 5. If you could, okay, let me change this up for you a little bit.
Mm.
If you could go back in time and remember to do one thing different, what would it be and why?
Oh, God, that's a great question. I love a good game, by the way. If I could go back in time and change one thing, it would be to tell myself to trust myself. To trust myself. And
Trust.
why is because we all know what we should do. No one ever does not listen to their gut and says, God, that was a great decision. Our gut is always right. And I wish I would have had enough courage back in my journey to listen to what my gut was telling me.
You know something? I love that 100%. I believe in gut instincts. Each person has that real, true gut instincts that telling you, do it. And then you have that 3 seconds afterwards that your brain tells you, I'm kind of, yeah. That gut instinct is the winning thing for you. So I believe that 110%. All right. What would you receive and proud of? Like, what award have you received or accolades or anything in your life that you're most proud of receiving?
I would say, especially with where I am now, Chris, and I'm sure there's moments that are not coming top of mind, but I would say when I receive a message from someone that says that something I said or a moment in a speech or something on the podcast really resonated with them and they needed to hear that and it gave them the courage to know that they were not alone, that to me is my win. And that's what keeps me showing up every day.
All right. Last one. Here we go. If you can go back to your 18-year-old self, that young little girl, what would you tell them now?
God, I would kick her ass because she was wild. I would tell her, I think after I got done kicking her ass, I would then give her a big hug and I would tell her to just relax, to trust, because your life is going to work out so much more beautifully than you could ever imagine right now. So just enjoy the journey.
I'm glad you're not beating her up. So that's
well, she gets a little ass kicking and then she gets the love.
Then she gets the love afterwards.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Before we let you go, tell everybody where they can find you on social media, podcasting, where they can find you if they need more information.
Thanks, Charles. So if you are interested in learning more about this movement of intentional living, if you have the gut whispers that Charles and I talked about, and you want the courage to dig into them, go to the website, Megan, MEGAN-Miller, MILLER.com. That is where you will find everything for the community. You can download our 4-step journal process, the micro-step journal. You can follow us on social. You can listen to the podcast. Everything is in that house. So we will welcome you with open arms.
There you go. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Charles. I love this community you're building. Thank you for having me.
All right. Like I always say, everybody, you didn't have to watch, you didn't have to listen, but I'm so glad that you did. Do me a favor, pick up that phone and ask somebody where they headed. What's the new thing in their life? Sometimes you just need a friend to give you that push. If we're not going to do it, someone will do it for you. It's your time to get forward and jump. We'll see you next time. Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.